Pick him up right now.
Call. Two men. One named Rich. That's me.
This is Jermaine. Just got off the toilet.
He's a foul man. This is the X's and O's of life.
Huh?
You guys are very ill behaved, man. Wow.
Yep. Well, welcome in there, kiddos. This is the X's and O's interview thingy that I do. I haven't done one in a while. No one has seemingly liked me, which I don't blame you. But I have a fella here that we've been trying to squat up for a few weeks, but between couch moves and Podmatch having a pretty shitty interface and not being quick to let people know things, now we're here. So third time's a charm. So kind of better late than pregnant. That's fine. So, as you can see, the fellow on the screen here, his name is Kristof, and I was actually a little nervous. I'm like, if this dude has a weird accent, I'm gonna be not in a good place because it's gonna be a lot of like, huh? I don't know what you said.
I do, man. I'm from the South.
I mean, yeah, but like you hear Kristof and you're like, this guy might be a Nazi. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think he is. I mean, sale pending. We haven't really talked yet, so I mean, could be a fun surprise or a sad surprise. I mean, I am German, so I feel like we would have that in common. No, that's fine. Don't read into that. But yeah, hey fella. First and foremost, thank you for taking the time out because we were going to do this later on, but then, I was tired of trying to clean out the overflow sink for the washer, and looked at my email. I was like, oh, hi, hey, let's just go do this now because naps and such. But yeah. So who are you? What do you do? How big's your penis? No, you don't have to tell that. You can skip that last part. But yeah, man, what's your deal?
So I'm Kristof. I was born and raised in Texas.
My condolences.
Yeah, right. That's it all the time. I was a reporter there for a little while. I went to the Navy right out of high school. I was actually the first kid to graduate from high school, and I was the third born. So
really,
that's pretty great. Yeah, and then after the Navy, I became like a bunch of stuff. I became an EMT and then a 911 dispatcher.
Jesus.
And then I won some awards as a journalist and a photographer. And then I also won stuff for short fiction and poetry in 2 different colleges. They had an annual creative writing contest, and I won both of those. And then I went after that. I moved around a lot and ended up in Canada.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Right. I lived, and it was really I was diagnosed with Tourette's at like 27, and I stopped writing for about 5 years, Shakespeare, for 5 years because of Tourette's. And when I hit 32, the government in Canada, they told me that they couldn't find there's no kind of work that I could do, and like given my condition and the parameters of my Shakespeare, because I injure myself a lot. And anyway,
oh, okay. I was gonna say, like, why would they blackball you like that?
No, it's not that. It's like it's Shakespeare. Given the criteria of what my workspace would and my work, the quality of my work would need to be in terms of like consistency and such. Because some days I would be bedridden, because it's like having a seizure kind of all day. Shakespeare, giving yourself Charlie horses like everywhere. Shakespeare.
Jeez.
So I stopped writing for 5 years, and then when they told me that, I started writing my book. I guess this one. 10 minutes later.
Shameless plug.
Yeah.
I love it.
Mhm.
That's awesome, man. Like you're almost as talented as me. No, like no, look, Tourette's aside, the your resume's soup's impressive, man. Like that's how old are you now? What where are you at?
Shakespeare. What I'm say again?
How old are you now?
I'm 34. Shakespeare.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Shakespeare.
So you've been kind of diagnosed for 7 years and just kind of hammering out, all that stuff.
Yeah, in the last 2 years, I've written probably Shakespeare. I've probably written about 575,000 words.
Jesus.
Yeah. So for like people
I
that
can't
don't
even
know,
count
like
that high.
The Hobbit is 95,000 or 98,000 words. So it's like writing the Hobbit like 5 and
Yeah?
almost 6 times. Yeah.
So that's like that's kind of your passion though, just writing and getting
Yeah.
that okay. So
Yeah.
what are your what is that book that you shamelessly plugged?
Oh my god.
What's that about?
You know what? Like I really liked Game of Thrones for a lot of reasons, right? I think a lot of people did. It was a fucking dope show. Until the end. I'm sorry.
I never watched it. I don't that's more the wife. The wife is kind of into that stuff. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
sports and bitches. Let's go.
No, it's actually a great fucking show, but the thing is
Yeah.
that it ends Shakespeare. It ends very poorly. I think a lot and I hold the prevailing
I
view.
have heard that.
Yeah, most people say that, and so like that's something that but my book is like I tried to do something between Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, like in terms of
Okay.
violence, and in terms of complexity, because I think Game of Thrones is a little bit um it's not lean enough for me, I don't know. And then but Lord of the Rings is also too tame in a lot of senses, and it's less directly like relevant. You know what I mean? Like because even Tolkien said that his work isn't meant to be political, but I don't know. I could be wrong about that too. I don't remember.
So my kiddo, which is I gotta stop calling him kiddo because he's 18 and has dick hair. So I haven't seen it. I just assume. But he's he's really into the kind of the sci-fi thing and
Yeah,
where first of all where can we find your book? Because I may have to squad that up for him there.
it's on Amazon. And a bunch of other places. You just look if you look up my name, Kristof Morrow, in Google, you'll find it right away. Everything's
Okay.
yeah. I'm no longer anonymous forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've lost my anonymity for sure.
I mean that's fine.
Yeah, yeah. I've sold about 1,300 copies though.
Really? That's
Yeah,
awesome, man.
yeah. Pretty like on all the continents except for Antarctica
Really.
and
I mean they can't read out there anyway. It's too fucking dark.
It's just researchers, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess they have the time, but they would
Hey, did you hear about that
probably.
dude? Did you hear about that one researcher that killed that other one because he revealed the end of the movies? Like he would. So no, did you hear about this? No, seriously. Swear to
No,
God,
I
look
did
this up.
not.
No, seriously. There was a research station, okay, and it was like way out in the motherfucking Antarctica or like like on the North Pole, South Pole. I don't know. Fucking anyway.
Right.
So this dude, this dude would like try to watch movies, and the other guy would reveal the end of the movie every single time before he would spoil it every time, and eventually he fucking stabbed the dude. He stabbed the guy.
I mean,
I think the guy died. I'm pretty sure. It's because like they're out in the middle of nowhere. Like you get stabbed.
right.
Like you got to be able to perform like if you have if you need an appendectomy or something like that, some kind of emergency surgery. Anyway, that's fucking.
I mean, don't be a dick about it. Like, why would you? Like, you're in the middle of literal nowhere, and you have nothing to do but like do research, masturbate, be cold, and like do movies. So,
yeah. And
wow.
Yeah,
well, you get what you get, man. It's kind of how I look at it. Interesting. Yeah, I feel like they would probably be more suited to burn the book for fire and warmth than read it. So I can understand how they're not really spending money for a book. Now, I'm assuming you got a website, right?
No, I like Shakespeare. I have like social media, but
Okay.
Shakespeare. I still have a modest situation in terms of
Okay. Well, because when I went on your profile, it had the whole guest website, and you press it, and it actually goes to your Amazon link. So
that's
I'm gonna
fine.
make sure in the
Shakespeare.
show notes and what have you to put that that link to your website so people can go directly to it, so they're not having to search around because people are lazy. So, we kind of talked for like 26 seconds off camera because whatever, and you basically kind of put forth, hey, look, a lot of my interviews, conversations have been serious based, more like dark, not dark, but more kind of grim, I guess.
Yeah, they're grim, man.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
I'm not about that life. I've talked to a bevy of, you're like my 30th, I think. And I've only been doing the pod match since May-ish. Yeah, I've been hammering away, dude. I'm on a regular basis forget that I have a wife. I'm like, oh yeah, I should pay attention to you, but I'm busy and shit, so it's fine. But I've talked to everyone from former drug addicts to gym owners to people that deal with like pedos, and so I've covered like a gamut of people, and everyone I've talked to, it's always been kind of the same thing. Like, I'm very, very genuine. I like to have kind of deeper conversations if need be, if it goes down that road.
Mhm.
But I really do like to have fun and make my folks feel welcomed, and this isn't about your oh well, my uncle touched me and then I touched him and it was all fun, and now he's my dad, all that. We're not. I don't want to hear that. I mean, well, if that happened, that would be really weird, but don't tell that story because it's sad. But so you've been diagnosed since 27. How long have you kind of known you've had Tourette's?
Man, and I didn't know what it was until then. Like, I didn't know. But
Yeah.
I had my first, like, when I was in the Navy, when I was like 19.
Okay.
That was the first time I had like what I thought was a seizure, but it was like what's called like a tick attack, which is like
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So in every sense, it's the same as a seizure in many senses, but except you're awake for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna assume people, do the whole like, oh, what's going on with that guy type of thing, right?
Oh yeah.
How do you handle that, man? Because like I knew a girl, and it's funny because I told my co-host, because I do 3 different podcasts. I do a football podcast. I do a I don't know what I would call my other podcast. It's kind of like a variety. I don't fucking know what it is. It's a thing. And then I have this, and I told him, hey man, yeah, I'm interviewing this fella with Tourette's tomorrow, and I'm super intrigued about it, man. Like, I want to kind of get into his head and see what this dude's about, and just talking about just generally whatever. But obviously we're gonna touch on that, and I've only known one person in my whole life with Tourette's, and I was a younger fella, and somehow or another I am getting a handy from her, which that was a thing. Yeah, whatever. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm a sexy fella. And I didn't know what it was, but she had these tics that she would do this loud, exaggerated cough, and I mean, you're a young fella, and you're like, what the fuck was that? But she just kept doing it. I thought she was like super sick, but no, just had Tourette's, and I feel like it's an interesting disease because what I've seen and heard, it can manifest itself in many, many, many ways.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's people that are like, cock, cunt, fuck. And it's like, oh, well, good day to you, sir. And what do you have, like, super extremes or super, is there anything that's like, I don't know, that you would in your own eyes quantify is unruly, I guess, for lack of a better term?
Yeah, like I punched myself in the face and
Oh,
mouth,
well,
and
I mean, if you
nose,
can't find someone else to do it, you got to do it yourself. So that makes sense.
and I have this like, and I also jabbed myself in the throat and poked myself in the eyes.
Okay. Yeah. Have you ever super hurt yourself, or is it more
Oh
like
yeah,
yeah?
yeah, I fucked up my hand so bad that I couldn't use my thumb for like 3 months.
Dude, I checked your Instagram real quick and I saw a little like short about that. I'm like, I want to know what happened. So I guess you got a left-handed mouse. You're like, fuck yeah, this is the best.
Yeah,
So okay.
yeah, I can use it now a little bit, but it's not totally usable. Yeah, I don't think it ever will be though. Again,
Well,
because I'm gonna keep injuring it.
if it makes you feel any better, when I would say a younger lad, but not super younger, I was like 25. So
Shakespeare.
I would say I'm an adult enough to not be an idiot. But if you may or may not remember this, but years ago they used to have ground meat in this little plastic little container, right? It had like cellophane on it. It was like,
Shakespeare.
whatever. It was just wrapped tightly. So in my grandiose idea of being smart, I grabbed a butter knife and I stabbed it open. Now, for whatever reason, I somehow thought I was a superhero and I just stab it like I was, like it, killed my father or something. So I did that, and somehow or another, the non-serrated edge sliced the ligament in my pinky,
Shakespeare.
and now my pinky doesn't do like you see how your pinky should bend in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't do that. I can't do that anymore. So, I mean, it's definitely that was our hand injury story. So, welcome to the show, people.
Shakespeare.
But so, I mean, what is it like living with that, man? Like, I mean, it's not like it's not like you're a paraplegic or anything, but like, what is it like to live with that? Like the mental, physical, and emotional aspect of it.
It's awkward. It's
Yeah.
awkward. You gotta explain yourself. Like I go out in public and like sometimes I remember Christmas Eve, like I was at a grocery store and this dude we were at the self checkout and this dude was trying to sorry, one of the self checkouts what he thought one of the self checkouts was open, but it was actually closed. And so he said, you can use that one. And I was like, no, I can't, bro. It's closed. And then I turned around and I said, fucker, cunt. I had a tick. And then I realized that he probably thought,
right.
He certainly did. So I had to turn around and I was wearing a shirt that says like, I have Tourette's. Like, I'm not
okay.
So I was like, I have Tourette's. So he's like, oh, he was like, first he was furious. Like he was furious. Like, because he thought, anyway, it was fucking super awkward. And it's like my worst nightmare. Like ever since I was diagnosed with Tourette's, I've always been concerned with that happening, and it finally did. And I was like, damn.
That's unfortunate because I don't have Tourette's, but that's my general disposition. I get fired up quick.
Shakespeare.
What's your funniest story? Like, you have to have something that you find just like this was so perfectly timed. I mean, because I'm not gonna lie, that was a pretty damn good story. But do you have like a good one that's like, yeah, I couldn't have writ this one.
Oh no. A lot. It's actually just like over events. Like so like I have friends when I hang out with them, like they get a laugh out of it because like they'll be talking and they'll be talking shit about somebody, and then I'll say, I'll have like a tick and I'll say bitch, and then I'll call them and I'll say a name and they'll just start laughing because they're like, holy shit. That's gnarly as fuck, bro. Like
that's funny.
Yeah.
You're like the commentator. That's hilarious. That's beautiful.
Shakespeare. Yeah. So I don't know. It's not. I don't know if like I don't know. I don't know. Like it's just funny because yeah, just like the people that are around me that they enjoy it. So
Yeah, I mean, and that's the kind of it's weird with all the um inadequacies of the current social climate and how people are.
Mhm.
People generally are now a lot more and I don't mean this, don't hear what I'm not saying like you're some kind of like, like you should be ostracized from society or anything like that, but people are a lot more accepting of everything now, and it seems like they're more welcoming and more understanding, which you think 10, 15, 20 years ago, like they're gonna try to like drag and quarter you like he's a witch. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, settle
Especially
down.
though,
It's
bro. They used to, yeah. People that used to burn people like me at the stake back in the day.
right. I mean, it's just because it's once again like it's
They would have
once again
burned.
I'm not minimizing it or anything like that, but it's not that big of a deal. Like it's okay. Like you say some random shit sometimes.
Yeah,
Okay, fair
yeah.
enough.
People are crazy, man. People are
Like
crazy.
right, like you shouldn't be looked at any other type of way. Just like, all right, well, you called me a cunt. Well, that sucks, but fair enough. I mean, I probably earned it. Um, if anything, you're making people more socially aware of themselves.
Shakespeare.
Um, but so what do you do for work now? Are you just like a full-time writer or
Yeah,
what's your
yeah. I write full time. I get to do
okay?
that, which is quite extraordinary. And
Is
it's
that your
dope because,
passion?
oh my god, like I couldn't do anything else if I wanted
Yeah.
to. Like honestly, it's funny. I remember seeing Eddie Murphy. He was being interviewed one time, and they were like, "Eddie, what would you be doing if you weren't doing comedy?" And he's like, "Oh my god, like I'd probably be working at a restaurant, like a waiter, like I was doing before, or I think he was a waiter. I don't know, but he honestly had no idea, and I think the same thing. I'm like, because I've tried to do all kinds of stuff, right? I've done like all kinds of jobs, like service jobs and
Right.
different writing jobs. I wrote a movie once. Actually,
Really?
I've written two movies. Only one of them got. Well, I was a script doctor technically, um, which which is something where they someone has written a script and they want someone to come in and fix it and like actually. So that's the one that got made into a movie with the other one. Anyway, I love all kinds of writing. It's in fact like I actually it's crazy. This girl, she has a literary magazine. She wrote me, and she wanted me to do. Uh, she wanted me to do a fucking Eastern European folklore poems, and I started doing. I was like, you know how in John Wick they call him Baba Yaga.
Okay.
You ever seen John Wick?
No.
Oh
I'm
my
not a
god.
movie guy, man. I'm literally the
Oh
sports
dude, it's
guy.
so good. It's so good though, bro. It's Keanu Reeves. It's Keanu Reeves. He's fucking dope.
I mean, he is a national treasure. I will admit that.
Yeah, he's dope. Anyway, so it's fucking. I like to do all kinds of stuff, man. It's fun. It's fun. I don't care what it is with
Were you
writing.
kind of always this guy when you were a kid? Like, did you kind of
Shakespeare.
did you
Yeah, like
dream or aspire to be a writer of some nature, or like did it just kind of come along with later in life things?
it's like it's hard to say because like when I was uh I didn't really have a planet of identity, right, for a long time, because of the way I grew up. And so uh the notion that I could be like any specific thing or be extraordinary in any specific thing was not was not within like the realm of possibility. So but I had like lots of experiences growing up where someone would read something I wrote and they'd be like, "What the hell? This is really good."
Yeah.
And yeah, and it happened a few times. And that's when I started to take it seriously because I realized I actually really enjoyed it. It felt like music. It feels like
Okay.
that's what it feels. Yeah, it's a lot of
That's
fun.
cool, man. Because like it almost seems like it kind of found you and you found
Yeah,
it at the same time. It was like a perfect marriage.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I don't know, like yeah, I agree, and for so many reasons. Like I have this like ever since I was a kid, I remember like I remember as long as I can remember, I've like told myself that I didn't want to be boring, that I had to have an interesting life. I don't know why, but I just
I don't know, because smart. I don't know.
yeah.
Makes sense to me.
And then Shakespeare, and then my other concern was that every time I spoke, it had to almost as if it could be lifted and put into a movie script. And it's an
Damn,
obsessive thing. It's an OCD thing
that's
that I've
deep,
been
man.
doing.
Though, like I dig it.
It's strange. Yeah.
I don't feel like it's strange at all, man. Like that's beautiful because that really feels like
Shakespeare.
it's it's like I don't even know how to really put it. It's almost like an extraordinary level of self confidence where you're not like you're not pretentious, but you're kind of teetering on like what I'm saying is fucking important and this should be written
No,
down. Like,
no, no,
and
no,
I
no.
feel
I mean that I needed to give it that much consideration. Not that it was like
oh.
good. It's just
Eh.
that I needed to be. Yeah, I needed to give it considerable thought.
Oh, so you were
Yeah,
like that meticulous. I'm not going
yeah.
to say dumb things. Okay, so you're the opposite
Brevity.
of me. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
Yeah,
Um, hmm.
because I learned that Shakespeare. I think he said brevity is the soul of wit. And uh, brevity is like being particular with your word choice for you guys that don't know. It's like being very, very, very specific, exact. It's true.
More people should do that actually, because people tend to have verbal diarrhea and kind of forget that there's like this emotional connection and this like physiological connection that goes from your noggin to your face hole. And you should maybe give that an extra second of thought of like, should I say this thing to this person? Fuck it, let it go. It's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that because that's how bad things happen. So was that an acquired skill or was that more like just your brain just kind of worked that way?
Which part? Sorry.
Like the idea of I need to be
Oh, brevity.
meticulous with my verbiage. Yeah,
I think it had to do with like being I was abused a lot growing up, and so like
that sucks, man.
you couldn't like I couldn't be wrong.
Okay, it's one of those
Say
deals.
say everything. It was very anyway. Yeah, I think it's partly motivated by that, and also because I think I have a predisposition to love words. Yeah, words are like my favorite thing
Well,
ever.
you're a writer, so I would hope so.
No,
It'd be
Shakespeare.
odd if you were like a pirate. If you,
Take
it
it or
would be
leave it.
weird if you were a fireman but afraid of fire. It's like, well, that's fucking weird. You should maybe choose something different.
Shakespeare.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are you married?
I was, uh,
Oh,
and not anymore, as of like earlier this year or last year.
oh, yeah. We'll skip over that part. That's probably not a wound you want to fucking open up. What about kiddos? You have kiddos?
No,
Yeah, don't. Fucking miserable.
yeah. Actually,
Uh,
I actually raised a baby for like 2 years, and
oh,
then I found out I wasn't a dad. Uh,
oh,
that's in the thing. It's really, but we both did. So it wasn't the mother's fault, of course, because she's very lovely and intelligent and fun woman. She's very kind. Uh, and and so it was something that we both believed. Yeah.
oh. Okay. I had to put that
Yeah.
together. I'm like, wait, I might be dumb. Bump, bump, bump. Got it. All right. I got there. All right. Well, those are two painful subjects we're going to skip over. Thanks a fucking lot.
It's actually great, no, because like it taught me a lot. Like you say,
Yeah.
like don't have kids, and I'm like, yeah, bro, I've already been there a little bit.
So they're
It's
18 and
a little
14.
bit,
So I'm
a
at
little
the
bit,
tail end.
a little bit, yeah.
And I pretty much told the wife if anything else happens, we have a lot of stairs here. So I'm just saying by not saying.
Shakespeare, Shakespeare,
You know,
Shakespeare.
but
I hate myself, Shakespeare.
yeah, actually my kid just got accepted to Penn State, which is pretty wild.
That's
So,
dope.
hopefully he can go and make us a lot of money so we can stop working.
Shakespeare,
That's the goal here.
Shakespeare, Shakespeare.
Okay. What else you got here? Give you the floor. Talk about what you want. Yeah, I put you on the
Well,
spot.
it's funny
Deal
because
with
like
it.
there's so much like I used to read the news like all the time,
Oh,
like all because I was a reporter, right? And
yeah.
uh,
What'd you report
but
on? What was that about?
oh damn. Well, I started out in sports actually, which
Oh,
okay, bro.
I guess I like you now. All right.
Okay, like I felt so bad. Well, first of all, let me begin by saying the team that I covered, and there was the El Campo Rice Birds. Actually, a very good team. Surprising, because out of Texas for a two. I think it's a 2A school. Pretty sure. But anyway, um, I covered another school, and they were much smaller, and they had much less funny, and they had much fewer kids. It was very, very, very tiny school. So it was like the team they put together was the best they could do, and the coach did the best he could with what he had. So, so it's really I put no blame on that dude because he was really like I've seen the situation and it sucks, but it's what happened. So he was like, bro, okay, every week I go down there on Friday night to watch the fucking game and to go report on the goddamn game. And I had to okay, so we went to print on Friday nights, right? So at midnight, right before midnight, we had to get that shit all done. I had to write the article. I had to go to watch the game, and the game would be done like 10 and 11 o'clock. Fuck, I got to write that shit.
Oh,
Like I had to, like, as it was going, and
right,
then
right, yeah,
like right after the game, I had to interview the coach. Okay, right. So now you know the process. Because
right.
after that, then I write it down, put it and send it to print, and then the printer prints it on the people that do it uh, at the newspaper thing. Um, I'm calling the coach after the game that they just lost 45-2, or
Dude,
45, 55-7. This is every week, bro. Every week.
yeah,
Every goddamn week. I had to I had to go and like go to this game, watch this slaughter happen because these schools got much bigger, much like you should see just the uniforms. You can tell like the shit,
yeah.
the clothes that they had were like the jerseys and stuff. Shakespeare
These guys basically had a
were so much
T-shirt with their
better.
names like spray painted on them.
Yeah, yeah. And so like anyway, this what happened, and then like I get back to the office and I call up the coach. I interview the coach. And they just lost again. This is like, okay, so by the third time, it's just really fucking awkward now. Like, so I'm calling like, yeah, so do you want to talk about what happened there? Because
Mm,
we both like it's a fucking farce. It's a farce.
right.
Like this anyway. So like I had to like so like, I write the fucking article, man. Did this shit. Oh god, I did that so long, and then thank God, I told my publisher, the editor, I was like, "Yo, I gotta do something more substantial, more consequential than this." Because I was covering sports, which is it's consequential in Texas because football is really important.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Oh fuck. Um. Oh shit. What was I saying?
Well, the doing the reporting in Texas and how football is super important.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember what I was saying before that though. Gosh.
You were
Oh, I
doing
wanted to do
the
something more
yeah,
consequential.
right.
I wanted to do something more consequential, I was also covering agriculture, Shakespeare,
Those are
and
two
I actually
different
ended up
sides of the
covering
spectrum.
yeah, Shakespeare. Right, right. It's well, yeah, and I did grow up a little bit on a farm, kind of.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. So anyway, um, yeah, she, my publisher moved me on to be the main news writer, Shakespeare, and so that's what I was doing. And so I didn't have to do sports anymore, and they
Right.
hired another guy to do it. And then he got to have the awkward yeah, had to do the awkward phone calls every week.
What would this guy say? Like, oh well, we gave him our best, and next week we're gonna score more than 10 points. I promise. Like,
Honestly, yeah,
how did those
it's like
conversations go?
you can't like because again, like there's nothing you can do when you got one school that's got like you know 2,000, 3,000 kids or whatever,
Yeah.
and your high school has like 400, maybe.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it's ugly. It's just
You got
ugly.
a bigger crop to pick from.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
the other one, you're like, hey,
Yeah.
do you have legs? Would you like to
unless
run?
the 400 kids are like come from Spartans or something. Like
Yeah.
nothing
Right.
for them. Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm in Pittsburgh and I like all the sports, but
I had a roommate from Pittsburgh.
yeah. Well, we're generally decent folks. But I'm a Pirates fan, so I'm well aware of the David and Goliath situation because that's pretty much every 162 games of the year. It's like, well, fuck. It's not, are we going to win? It's more like, how much are we going to lose by? So
yeah, I'm always I'm always nervous to go to sports games these days. I know not for any
absolutely.
Not for any good reason. Here's my reason. Yeah, I've seen too many videos, like especially people that are real close to the field. I've seen too many videos of like terrible things happening.
Oh, I mean, fair.
Like people catch the ball over the guy who's trying to catch it, and then that person is like blackballed from society. They have to move to a different city. That happened to that dude and another dude. Oh my god, it happened so many times. And
Steve, oh fuck, what's his name? Steve. Oh, Berkman or it was the Chicago guy. It was a Chicago guy. He was like the OG of like, you fucked up at sports.
Really got it bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he got his though. I think he was vindicated in the end.
Yeah, but
good for him though.
Yeah. He's like the grandfather of when you go to sports events.
I'm getting canceled.
yeah. Honestly, that's the perfect way to put it. Wow. Yeah. See, I thought you were gonna go with like you see all these kind of reels and TikToks of like people going to a game and getting fucked up and getting like just hands thrown for no reason. Like people getting chucked down the aisle. I'm like, that's like kind of almost homicide. What are you doing?
Yeah.
That's interesting though. So you'd be the guy reaching out for the foul ball, fucking up the game.
I don't want to be even have the urge. I don't want to be.
I mean, you can't help it. What are you supposed to do? The ball's coming to you. You're told to protect yourself at all times. I'm doing this. I'm doing said thing because there's this little fucking meteor coming out from the sky that may crack me in the skull. Let me try to catch it. Oh, wait, there's a giant gentleman running towards me trying to catch the ball too. Fuck this noise. I'm going to grab it and I'm going to get in a turtle position and we're going to call that a day. Fair enough.
Yeah. So you lived in Pittsburgh your whole life?
Yeah. I am 30. I'll be 38 this year. Yep.
I think I've been to Pittsburgh. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's not a bad place. I mean, it's not really a tourist trap by any stretch, but it's kind of one of those you can walk downtown and like every few blocks you feel real bougie and then you feel like, oh, is that a homeless guy I smell? It sure is. It's one of those weird little it's a yeah.
Well, I live in a city now. I live in Vancouver, right?
Yeah.
And I went to Portland, Oregon. The people that like don't have homes here in Vancouver, like they're like those numbers are much smaller. Like everywhere basically, but when I went to Denver recently and I was in Portland, both of those places, man, it's fucking dark. Like how like oh my god, people that like you wouldn't normally like people we've always sort of relegated the people that are asymmetrical to these, they have like one eye and one leg and and only half sane, right? Right. And all these other qualities that we decided that are too weird and too dysfunctional to be a part of society, and we don't want to help you either, right? But it's just like now, like you see the kind of people that don't have homes, and they're just normal people. They're like normal fucking people, and it's like when I say normal, I think I mean that in the sense that like they wouldn't traditionally have been expected to like be suffering from this, because of like a number of privileges. But the thing is, it's like now that shit doesn't exist anymore, and like anybody, man, it can come after anybody. I saw it was so many people. It was so many people. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that's extraordinary. I've never seen that many people. Like,
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know when did you travel? Like, was it super recent?
yeah, it was earlier last year in
Oh, that's
2023.
absolutely inflation then. Absolutely, inflation made
Oh yeah,
homeless. Yeah, like at this point, like you got to be making like 200 grand a year collectively with the wife and the hubby to like keep your head above water.
yeah.
And it's
Mhm.
crazy. It is crazy because we never really had to actually look at our bills and really care about it. Now we do. I mean, we don't struggle, but
Okay.
also I will say the wife has a really fancy fucking taste, but I knew that kind of getting into the situation, so can't really blame myself. But you it's sad. It really is sad.
It's crazy.
Because I believe I did a podcast. Yeah, actually I did a podcast on homeless folks. And I generally have the stance where the only homeless folks I actually feel pity for, which sounds really shitty, but I don't care. It's my podcast. Fuck you guys. Um, are the vets, because a lot of the times
Mhm.
they're homeless by uh, they killed. They've seen their brethren killed.
Yeah.
That will fuck you up. Some people can't even watch. Some people can't even kind of handle watching a scary movie that weren't in the service. They can't even, because they'll have nightmares. Imagine these people. They're like, oh yeah, man, I blew someone's head off, and I literally had my friend right behind me got blown up by an IUD.
Yeah.
Cool. You know, you're not gonna come out of there fucking normal.
Right.
And the way society shuns those people is a fucking disgrace. And it's sad because
Well,
those are the
I'm a
ones I
veteran. I
actually
think
feel pity for.
I'm a veteran, so I would say like, are you a veteran?
No, God, no.
Okay.
I'm a pussy. Sorry.
I would say like regardless of like the circumstance, I've you there's actually a character in my book that's named after Dr. Jim Withers. His character's name is Withers. The character's name is Withers, and this guy Jim Withers like started this thing called street medicine in the United States anyway, which is a kind of strategy for like being able to treat people like unhoused people like where they are rather than waiting for them to come to the ER and like be in. So he would actually go
That's
out and
beautiful.
perform like care, like he perform medical care, like his job. He'd be a physician treating them like wherever they were, and so many of his those who were there, like they of all the different demographics that they qualified, like veterans and disabled folks that like don't have enough, like just don't get enough, and then like other people that are just experiencing downtime and other mental illness, all this stuff. Um, anyway, after he like was able to like uh intervene, medically intervene and psychologically intervene, all those people, including like even the ones that were like holdouts for a long time, they were like, I like being this way, I like to live this way. And they were like the guy said, I don't know how I ever thought I someone could live like that. I don't understand. He had just gone through it. He would been living like that for years. And now that he got treatment and everything, and he came out of it, he realized his so I think that everybody I'm an alcoholic, like I haven't had a drink in like 7 years or 8 years or something. But
Congrats,
addiction
man.
is a really strange thing, uh and so I try to like extend that kind of because nobody wants to live like that. And so like
Right.
the notion that I think that we're all most terrified of is dying alone, right? That's it. So if you imagine like that, you would be like the notion that they are accepting a rejection a lot of times. Oftentimes, people that are unhoused, they accepting and surrendering to like what they think is the ultimate, like, the prevailing view of who they are, which is like worthless,
Right.
and that's just not true. For for a number of reasons, but anyway, I think and I think that like so I try to be compassionate. I think uh to everybody, because like it's just not a good. Nobody wants to live like that. It's terrible.
Right. It's not a good look. Like nobody aspires to be when they're a 12-year-old boy sitting in the room. You know what I'm gonna do? When I become 18 or 19, I am gonna be homeless because it sounds fucking great. Nobody
Yeah.
wants that. No one aspires for that, but we're habitual creatures, right? And unfortunately, you sometimes get caught in that gerbil wheel. Some of it is, you know, a self wound kind of you did this to you. Now, obviously, drugs usually are a huge culprit. Mental illness is usually a huge culprit, but more often than not, if it's just a mental illness, I feel like that's more of a rare thing. It's usually the mental illness plus the combination of something else that
Yeah.
doesn't allow you to handle said mental illness, because there's so much help out there. Now, obviously it's expensive, but there are ways to get yourself in a better place. It's not made inaccessible to you. But the reason I feel the worst for the vets is because the help is out there, and their illness, if they have an illness, but you're not going to come back from there fucking the way you went in. It may not allow you to do that. And then you have that social pressure around you that you are viewed as some kind of monster because you went to fight for your country. I am by no stretch a get off my lawn kind of, like the fucking gun toting, by no stretch. I'm not political. But I feel like if you have the balls enough to go overseas or to a alien country and take up arms, whether that be, whatever, wing of the military that you're in, you at least get my appreciation, which means nothing to you. I get it, but you get at least my appreciation, the guy that you never fucking met. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, society tends to look at you as literally, ironically enough, they look at you as a terrorist because, but I feel bad for those folks because they don't deserve. I'm not saying they need to have a hero's welcome in the sense of rolling out the red carpet and, you got, big titties girls,
Like
just,
yeah. I got a
but
whole thing about I know exactly what you're talking about. But because there is a society. I think I wrote in my book somewhere. Society has a regrettable aversion to asymmetry.
yeah.
No, the thing just went black.
Yeah,
Your screen, you're like,
yeah, I hit a button here. Sorry, 1 second. There we go. Yeah, it's just sad. It's sad, but there are also people that pretend to be homeless, which those guys should.
oh yeah, panhandlers.
Yeah, they should just be stabbed in the liver because they are the worst kind of fucking people. Because me and the wife, we're pretty charitable, man. Like, we try to do this like every Christmas. There's like a tree farm here, and we pooped our pants here this year because we did it one day. We got there like a day too late, but we always, go buy a tree. We don't need a tree, but we go buy a tree and keep it there and saying, hey, give this to some people that can't afford it, because why not? If you have the means and the ability to do it, and you can shine a little bit of light on somebody that, it's just a tree in the grand scheme of life. It's not that big of a deal, but it's like, let's say you're a little kid and inflation hit, and you're like, well, we can't have a tree this year because we can't afford it.
Yeah, I didn't have one this year because I couldn't afford it.
Oh, there you go. I mean, it's a weird feeling, man. Like,
it was pretty lame. Yeah.
Because it's just one of those, like, well, this fucking doesn't feel right. And
yeah.
I don't know. And
especially not Christmassy this year.
right. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And most people don't even decorate outside anymore. It's either all or nothing. You got the people that look like the Griswolds, or you got, people that are like, oh, do you hate Christmas? You look like you hate Christmas. So,
yeah.
but
Actually, it's funny because like right now, my book, I wrote a Christmas book, a kid's book, and I put it
yeah,
on Amazon, and it's like in the single digits right now in a few categories on the ranking. It's pretty funny.
yeah,
Yeah, it's really. Like, I'm gonna see if I can find it right now. It's called Liam Earns a Friend.
yeah. I heard that. Dude, all right, 1 second here.
It's fucking crazy.
You're gonna see me dark here. 1 second.
Number 2, number 8, and number 10 right now.
Really?
It's wild.
Okay. 1 second here. Sorry. Perks of being married. Okay. So, do you have any like current projects in the kind of making, or
Yeah,
are you
and
just?
like I got a bunch, but I do this by like so. This book is volumes 1 and 2.
Oh,
And
it's like
like
1 and 2
about
in
two and a
that
half
one.
times longer than The Hobbit.
That's 1 and 2 in that book.
Yeah,
Okay. What's
and
that
then
go for? What's
I'm
that?
almost
What's
done with
that
1 and
cost?
3. Huh?
What's that cost?
What's that?
What's it cost? Like, what's the price of the book?
Oh, this the paperback's like 25.
Okay.
That's like as cheap as I could possibly make it. Actually, I can't make it any cheaper. Like I lit like I w- like not. I'm not talking about like it, or I'll make less money. I don't make any money from the paperback version.
Yeah.
I don't. I only make stuff from the because I consider I wanted it to be a cultural contribution,
Okay.
so I priced it like appropriately. So it's the Kindle version's only 99 cents, so I don't make any money from that either.
Oh Christ.
And then which I could make it $10 if I wanted to, and then make like 9 something, but I won't. I don't want to. The hardcover is the one that like I tell people to buy if they want to support me. They buy it that
Do
way.
the hard.
Like, I get like $13 from that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's that run? What's that cost?
$39.99.
Okay. Well, I will tell you this. I'm going to absolutely get the hardback Bushin version for the kid. Because he's all into that stuff. And if he doesn't like it, then I'll just charge you to pay me back my money and tell you to go fuck yourself. Because I'm a gentleman. But yeah, so people out there, please, if you're kind of into, I don't even know what you would kind of quantify that genre of book, but I guess the sci-fi fantasy-esque kind of deal, I guess, is probably the best way to put it.
Epic fantasy.
Epic fantasy. Look, that just sounds sexy, so I dig it. Don't be a cheap fuck. Buy the hard copied version. Because this guy couldn't have a Christmas tree. Fucking buy him a fucking Christmas tree, okay? Come on. I know Christmas is over, but you can get the good karma going for next year. But
yeah.
Well, look, man, you got a super cool story, man, and honestly, I don't. It's funny because as I talk to you, yeah, obviously initially you're gonna notice the whole ticks and everything, but as you went on, it was just like you don't notice it. It's not a part. It doesn't define you, and I think a lot of people, unfortunately, in society, they tend to define people by, whatever you call it, a disability, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. It should be a part of you. Yeah, accept it, embrace it. It is a part of you. It is what it is, but it's not you. So, from this guy's perspective, just talking to you, it was like, oh, you just don't even pay attention to it. It's not even. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of the important thing. And I think a lot of people can learn at least from that. I mean, once again, I'm by no means the end all be all decision maker of all things, but I'm kind of a dick. So I kind of feel like It's not difficult to
Fuck
just see a person for who they are and hear their story and see them as a person and not see, like, oh, what are they doing? Who fucking cares what they're doing? Fuck off.
yeah.
But
Thanks.
plug your stuff, man. Plug your stuff. Where can people find you? What can we do
Oh
for
yeah,
you?
I'm on Shakespeare. Like you can Shakespeare. If you Google my name, you'll find it. Everything about me and all the different stuff, my books, and also, uh, so yeah, I have TikTok and Instagram, and I don't really use much anything else. Most of everyone I have like 5,300 followers on TikTok.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, they're really lovely people actually. A
Good.
lot of them message me and say a lot of really nice things. Like, um, my two favorite things people have told me. One person told me that they never really liked reading because they thought they weren't good at it, but now they realize that they are good at it, and they now they like to read and they read more, and that's the best. And then the other one, someone told me that even if I did nothing for the rest of my life, I've made my time on Earth worthwhile.
Oh, well, shit, dude.
Uh,
That's beautiful.
yeah, because my book is like I like to write literature, so like Charles Dickens, and Shakespeare, all that stuff. Like, there's just like so many different lines like that I think that I meant to hopefully learn and qualify um, as literature.
Yeah.
So it's I because I don't know if you know this, but the Once and Future King, Arthur and the Sword and the Stone, King Arthur, right, and the
Yeah.
Round Knights of the Round Table, all that came from like the Once and Future King, and then like that series. That is probably the only work of literature in epic fantasy that exists. Like really, truly, that has prose beyond the description. Uh, so it's really curious. I wanted to do something that hasn't been. I feel like that hasn't been done quite a while. Not since like Game of Thrones is really close to like a work of. It's close because the dialogue is actually quite good, but I'm not really crazy about a lot of the other. It's like his descriptions and stuff are.
I mean, and that's kind of, I would say, and it sounds weird. I feel like the two genres that probably get the most attention are going to
Mhm.
be kind of the fantasy tales and like the weird romance ones that are like for the 50-year-old lady that's just like flicking her bean, wishing that her husband liked her still.
Shakespeare.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if you're going to carve out, your name in the
Shakespeare.
in the literary world, and if it's something that obviously interests you, then yeah, you kind of hit gold there.
Yeah, you have to do a lot because like you have to know a lot of stuff, and
Right.
I think being able to marry like an imagination with someone who can also like do thorough, comprehensive, uh, and um, and like effective human study, because like studying other people and knowing other people and being able to write about other people is separate from being able to imagine things. Like and so like you have to be able to find a way to synthesize those two things, like, and it's and that's just being like you have to be able to understand how the natural world interacts with humans and humans interact with the natural world and with each other, humans with humans, and then yeah, and you can learn and you can like extrapolate, you can create a lot just knowing that and thinking that um in those terms.
Yeah, I mean, anybody can write something, but you have to be talented and smart to write something good. So it's one of
It's funny.
those. What do you?
It's funny because I talk about that a lot because like it's funny because like writing is one of those things that like I tell people, like every other art form, except like lyrics, in music, but every other art form like benefits from the notion that it's quite subjective.
Right.
right? And, there's so much there's so much room for
You
interpretation.
go to an art gallery, it's like, what the fuck is that? Oh, that's
Yeah,
beautiful.
exactly.
It's like, what?
Exactly. Yep. And so but writing is one of those things that there's a consensus. Like everybody knows what it meant because it has to be written. It's written in a way that so it's the only art form I think that really describes wholly your intellect. Like it's one of those things that like a lot of people they don't want to do because it's like you
It's
realize
hard,
after.
and people don't want to do hard stuff.
No,
Honestly.
yeah. And so it's hard, and so it's really revealing. That's why writers, like if you meet other writers, and they're better than you or you're better than them, it's really awkward for one of them or maybe for both of them. I don't know.
Depends what side of the spectrum you're on there, friend.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, so like it could be really awkward. And I'm yeah, it's one of those things that like I don't know. It's one of those things. It's one of those things you can't really get away from the truth on that.
But still, though, like you're kind of in almost a brotherhood, I guess is the good way
It's
to
a
put it.
fraternity for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because having written a book, like if you actually write a book and it's over 50,000 words, I applaud that. Because it's like, I mean, even people do chapbooks and stuff too, like that. I get that. That's fine. Novellas, that's all admirable. But if you do 50,000 words of those, then I consider that, except for poetry, I make an exception for that. And so because it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of commitment, and it's a lot of rewriting. Uh, yeah, and so like whenever I see someone having written a book, I know what kind of work goes into it now, and I have a different appreciation for it, which is funny because people say that about everything when they have that experience, right? And so it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
now when I see people, like I feel bad, like it's just that you get a different feeling, I think.
there's
Like
blood equity into that. Like that's
yeah,
what it is. There's blood
yeah,
equity into that. I mean, you can kind of say the same thing a bit about doing podcasts. It's kind of one of those deals where anybody can make a podcast. But
oh yeah,
if you can make one that's at least successful, or something that you really like to do that can kind of bleed through, I think that's the
Mhm.
difference. And that's why so many fail.
Mhm.
You don't make money off of it. You get bored with it, and it's not a passion. And that's kind of why you see so many come and go.
Yeah, yeah, I yeah, I feel for anybody that tries to begin some kind of project to express themselves
It's a business.
and to connect, and they want to connect with other people. That's a large part of what they're doing, is
Yeah.
trying to develop their understanding and other people's understanding of the world.
Dude,
No,
I've
which
learned
I think
so
is
many
admirable.
things from this. It's silly.
Steinbeck wrote, John Steinbeck. He wrote *The Grapes of Wrath*, of Mice. For anybody that doesn't know, Of Mice and Men, *East of Eden*, a bunch of other stuff. But most people are probably going to be familiar with *Of Mice and Men* from school. Lenny and George. Anyway, he said his whole mission as a writer is to help people understand one another, and that's exactly how I feel.
I mean, I feel like that's a damn good way to look at it, man.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, Shakespeare.
Well, look, my dude. I First of all, I'm glad that we finally third time's a charm this
Yeah.
deal. I'm glad neither one of us kind of bowed out. I had no ambitions of bowing out, but I can understand if on your side you're like, fucking Christ, man, can we just get this like scheduled? And I mean, honestly, it was right around the holidays too, so that's always a hot mess as well. So
Yeah.
but definitely
Yeah.
worth the wait, man. You're definitely an interesting cat.
Thank you. You're very kind.
Just it's awesome to see, an actual like, I mean, you're an author, man. Like you're an author. That's a pretty rad kind of
Yeah.
title. Like that makes the resume sexy.
It's
And
really cool. I love it. Yeah. I wouldn't do anything else.
yeah, and not bullshit. I am gonna buy that hard copy for the kiddo.
That's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's right up his alley, and obviously I want to help support you.
Shit, you know what's funny? I'll tell you what. I'll tell you one more thing about it. Actually, it's a funny thing. The first word in the book, you can actually see it. Oh, is it?
It's blurry, man.
No, it's blurry. It says
Yeah.
moo. It says
Moo.
moo.
Nice.
Moo is the first word in the book because that's a character. That's the name of a character. Moo. Swear to God.
Oh,
It's a little kid named
interesting.
Moo. I swear
Okay.
to God. His little name, and I thought because I thought here's my reasoning. I thought it would be funny if this was considered a work of literature one day, and then college professors have to walk around and say "moo" the whole time, like the class.
I
They'd be
love
like,
it
"Moo
so
did
much.
this, Moo did that, Moo," and they would just be mooing the whole class. And I wanted so
That
badly.
is a long-term troll, and I love it
Yeah.
with all of
There's
me.
there's so many shit posts in here. There's so
Yeah.
many shit posts. Pac-Man. I make a Pac-Man reference at
Yeah.
one point. There's Skyrim references, like to the Skyrim meme reference. Like it's I swear to
My
God.
kiddo loves Skyrim, so he'll get a kick out of that.
That's yeah. If he recognizes it, that would be really funny. Because
He will.
it's in there.
He's pretty quick on the pickup on those things, so he'll. Yeah.
You like that one where it says, "Hey, you're finally awake." Anyway, it's really funny. And then there's just so many others. There's so many. Oh my God, I make so many references to different stuff like in pop culture and just yeah. I don't even know. I honestly couldn't name them all if I wanted to. Star Wars references, Lord of the Rings, everything. There's so
He
many.
likes everything you said so far. His little Peter gets hard for. So, yep.
Shakespeare.
But look, man, I'm gonna post this. So this will be up by tomorrow morning. So you know.
Cool.
I'll send you the audio and the audio video file separately. Obviously, I'm gonna put your the links you have on the Podmatch kind of bio deal. I'll put the links to those in the show notes. But just appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad we were able to kind of finally get this squared away, and I appreciate you being able to kind of do this earlier because we had nothing going on, so figured why wait till 1? We don't have to. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But you got any parting words here?
Yeah. I always like to say that well, I don't remember, but I normally say justice and redemption are folly, but to seek them is not. So even though the notion of ever achieving justice or redemption is never going to happen, it doesn't mean you can give it up.
Well, goddamn, that's all deep and shit. Sheesh. Remember when you said when you're in a room with like other authors and they're like a lot better than you? I'm feeling like that right now. I'm like, oh, that's intellectual and sexy and thought provoking. I'm like, I'm gonna make a dick joke. That's where I'm at in life.
Oh my God, there's all kinds of jokes like that too. There's a dude shits his pants in this book.
Nice.
And like they talk about it like a lot and they joke about it.
And I mean, you don't let that thing go. It's one of those.
There's a girl at one point there's a girl in the book that's got she's holding her horse while she's trying to pee behind a tree, and everybody else is they're all armored up and ready to go. And she's and the horse starts to pull away and it yanks her out from behind the tree. She's like, oh my God damn it. God damn it.
Oh no.
Anyway, it's really funny. It's a whole lot of stuff like that. Yeah.
I mean, it's good to hear that you are able to interject humor into that as well, instead of it just being like a straight.
Oh, it actually opens up with a joke. The whole thing is like the Moo is holding a peach that he's allergic to, and his grandmother is his grandmother when you die in paradise in this particular part of the world, you become like whatever plant with a seed. You take a seed and you bury yourself with it, and you become that tree or whatever the fuck. She became a peach tree, but Moo is allergic to peaches, but he still has to eat them because it's like a whole thing. It's because his allergy is only really mild, and it's a whole thing about like how devoted he is as a joke. It's a whole joke, but and how everybody thinks he's so devoted, but he's like, oh, this is really miserable. It's so funny. Anyway, yeah. So
Well, like I said, I'm definitely gonna get the kid on that deal.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks, Rich.
Hey, no worries, man. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Just keep on keeping on and keep on writing, man. I appreciate your time.
Yeah. Thanks, Rich.
All right, buddy. I will see you, and I'll send this out in the email here for you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Take it easy.
All right. See you.